Using a website to find medical treatments could harm your health. Starting tonight, a CBS News special report, Second Opinion, Medicine Online, on the CBS Evening News with Katie Couric. Later, right after CBS 4 News, so stay with us.
It's always a party at Mardi Gras.
That's our news for now. Thanks for joining us. We hope you have a great evening.
Remember, we're always on CBS4.com. Now here's CBS Evening News with Katie Couric.
Tonight, a bailout from the union. The UAW offers contract concessions to the big three car makers to keep them in business. And a tale of two plants. They look the same. Why workers in one could soon be out of a job. I'm Katie Couric. Also tonight, the nation's colleges get a great big F in affordability. A new report says skyrocketing tuition is putting higher education out of reach for more and more Americans. Using a PC instead of an MD, why getting medical advice online could be hazardous to your health. And a Yuletide dynasty, the family that makes trees to please. Go ahead, take a bow.
This is the CBS Evening News with Katie Couric.
Good evening, everyone. The men and women on the assembly lines who put together the cars we drive fought hard for all the pay and benefits they got from GM, Ford, and Chrysler. But today, their union said it's ready to give some of it back if that's what it takes to get Congress to approve a bailout for the big three and keep UAW members employed. Our national correspondent Dean Reynolds is in Detroit.
The people who actually make American cars produced a batch of contract concessions today to keep their employers in business.
The word concessions, I used to cringe at that word, but now, why hide from it?
An emergency meeting here of the United Auto Workers agreed to help their employers by modifying, but not renegotiating, a contract that's only a year old. They allowed the big three to delay paying their promised share into a multi-billion-dollar health fund the union will start running in 2010. Until then, though, the companies are paying medical, dental, and vision coverage to all workers as well as retirees, who outnumber current employees 3-to-1. And the union suspended the controversial Jobs Bank, in which laid-off workers receive 85% of their regular pay while idle. Some 3,500 people currently, averaging as much as $50,000 a year, and something the union acknowledges has been hard to explain.
There's a perception problem, there sure is. I don't question that.
The sensational new 1951 Dodge.
Perks like these, negotiated decades ago when the big three were facing almost no competition, today add almost $2,000 to the sticker price of every car Detroit produces when compared to their now very real competitors. But they are very hard to give up.
Well, one of the things they do not want to do is to go back into the contract and start reducing wages and taking away other benefits.
While take-home pay at U.S. automakers now averages $28 an hour, close to what Toyota, Honda, and Hyundai pay their workers, it's the Detroit negotiated health and pension benefits that have changed the equation. Factor them in, and labor costs are $73 an hour for Detroit, but only $44 for non-Detroit producers.
Hey, buddy.
Still, talk of sacrifice lands heavily on workers like Brian Yarbrough, who bristles at the idea that his labor isn't worth his wages.
Especially, these congressmen that, they say you can go out and get another job, doing the same type of work and making half as much money. Well, I welcome them to come in and try doing some of that work. 5 years with General Motors, he wonders now whether he should ever have started. It's hard to say. This is something that my family has done. My grandpa worked for General Motors, and so did my dad. And so this is what my family knows.
But all he and his wife Sabrina have known for the last 5 years is uncertainty.
It panics me a lot. It kind of keeps me up at night, a lot of nights.
And tomorrow, the U.S. auto industry will make its second attempt in 2 weeks to secure government financing from Congress to keep from going broke. Katie?
Dean Reynolds reporting from Detroit tonight. We want to go back now to that competition Dean just mentioned. It comes, of course, from foreign car makers. The car on the left is a Hyundai Sonata, which looks an awful lot like the car on the right, GM Chevy Malibu. The Hyundai's made in Alabama, the Malibu in Michigan, and while they're very similar cars, the cost of building them is very different, as Mark Strassman shows us now in A Tale of Two Plants.
I look for a lot of different things. 5 years ago, John Carlson put Detroit in his rearview mirror. He left Ford in Michigan for Hyundai in Alabama.
Did you see the writing on the wall?
Maybe a little bit.
At this new plant, Carlson oversees it all. 1,000 Hyundais built today, both midsize sedans and SUVs. 3,000 non-union employees, and Carlson hired them all.
Everything from the CEO down to the folks that that are putting these fender guards on. We're all in it together.
This is obviously our award-winning Malibus.
North of Detroit, Gary Malkus manages this GM plant. Union labor makes mid-size sedans. But what's really on the line? Jobs for 4,000 employees.
That we're all on pins and needles as to what's going to happen.
Hyundai's workers, including all benefits, make almost $28 an hour, less than half the typical GM union worker. One reason? Covering the needs of its retirees cost GM more than $37,000 per active worker per year. GM has 360,000 retirees. In America, Hyundai has 0. Another Hyundai advantage in Alabama, America's most automated car plant.
Hyundai has achieved in only 3 years what Detroit has struggled with for the last 30. A highly competitive combination of quality and flexibility.
When SUV sales dived, the plant built more sedans. At many GM plants, that switch would take weeks. Here,
From point A to point B probably was within a few hours.
With a major difference, these GM workers build American innovation and inspiration. Not so in Alabama.
It's really just putting pieces together that somebody else in some other country has designed and developed for us.
But in the South, 3 more foreign car makers are building new plants. Up north, GM plans to close 9 more. Scary times in Michigan.
Some people, their last day may be right before Christmas break.
American car making heading in 2 very different directions. Mark Strassman, CBS News, Montgomery, Alabama.
Turning to politics now, President-elect Obama just signed up another former rival to his team. New Mexico Governor and one-time presidential candidate Bill Richardson is his choice for Commerce Secretary. The president-elect said Richardson will be a key member of his economic team and insisted this is not a consolation prize. Richardson had been considered for Secretary of State. And speaking of consolation prizes, a lot of students have to settle for their second or third choice for college because their first choice is simply too expensive. In fact, when it comes to affordable colleges, a national study out today gives 49 states failing grades, and only California passes. Here's Kelly Wallace.
19-year-old Vanessa Maserati was accepted at her top choice private 4-year university, but for economic reasons had to enroll instead in Brookdale Community College.
Financially, I have a brother and sister in college also, so it was really hard. So I just ended up coming to Brookdale to save money.
Like Vanessa, more students may be squeezed out of their dream school or college in general. For a public 4-year college, tuition has skyrocketed from $1,600 20 years ago to nearly $7,000 now. For a private school, from $8,000 to $25,000.
For a long time, we just thought about the very poor. But now, many middle-class students can't go. The tuition is just too high.
A new education report card found that families making less than $19,000 a year doled out 39% of their income on public college costs in 1999. That number jumped to a whopping 55% in 2007. The share for middle-class families making less than $90,000 also climbed from 18 to a hefty 25%. While families making more than $90,000 saw the lowest increase, from 7 to 9%.
And the problem is only likely to get worse. Historically, education experts say during tough economic times, states tend to cut college budgets, which sends tuitions up.
I think it's going to be very interesting to see if states that have
relatively high in-state tuitions if they're now going to lose students to other states that have lower costs.
I know money is still always going to be an issue.
Vanessa's college dreams ultimately will be determined by her family's bottom line. Kelly Wallace, CBS News, New York.
Overseas, police in Mumbai defused 2 bombs at the city's main train station. They were left by the terrorists. They left them behind last week's massacre, but just discovered today. Meanwhile, Bob Orr tells us terror experts are worried about the growing ties between the groups suspected in the attacks and al-Qaeda.
The evidence is clear. The attacks on Mumbai began in these Pakistan-based training camps of the terror group Lashkar-e-Taiba. Intelligence sources say phone calls intercepted as the attacks played out directly connect the gunmen to senior leaders of that group, also known as LET. And the only terrorist captured in the attack confirms that he and 23 others trained for more than a year at various locations inside Pakistan in urban combat, hostage-taking, and explosives. In India today, Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice said the attacks were the work of professional terrorists.
This is clearly the kind of terrorism in which al-Qaeda participates.
So far, investigators have not found the fingerprints of bin Laden in Mumbai. But there is evidence al-Qaeda and LET are growing closer, sharing communication links, training camps, and the same deadly mission.
Their objective is essentially a global jihad.
Founded in the 1980s by the Pakistani Intelligence Service, LET first focused on the conflict with India over the disputed border region of Kashmir. After they attacked the Indian parliament in 2001, Lashkar-e-Taiba was outlawed by Pakistan. But their terror continued and grew in scale, with the 2006 bombing of trains in Mumbai, which killed 200 people.
I think of them as being the second most important terrorist group of global reach that operates out of South Asia today, second only to al-Qaeda.
Until now, LET has not presented a direct threat to the United States, but the deliberate targeting of Americans in Mumbai suggests the group may be turning its attention to the West. Bob Orr, CBS News, Washington.
And coming up next here on the CBS Evening News, a warning about surfing the net for medical information. It may be a worldwide web of phony cures and dangerous advice.
If you've had a heart attack caused by a completely blocked artery, another heart attack could be lurking, waiting to strike. A heart attack caused by a clot, one that could be fatal. But Plavix helps save lives. Plavix, taken with other heart medicines, goes beyond what other heart medicines do alone to provide greater protection against heart attack or stroke and even death by helping to keep blood platelets from sticking together and forming clots. Ask your doctor about Plavix, protection that helps save lives.
If you have a stomach ulcer or other condition that causes bleeding, you should not use Plavix. When taking Plavix alone or with some other medicines, including aspirin, the risk of bleeding may increase, so tell your doctor before planning surgery. And always talk to your doctor before taking aspirin or other medicines with Plavix, especially if you've had a stroke. If you develop fever or unexplained weakness or confusion, tell your doctor promptly, as these may be signs of a rare but potentially life-threatening condition called TTP, which has been reported rarely, sometimes in less than 2 weeks after starting therapy. Other rare but serious side effects may occur.
Feeling stuffed up? Unstuff yourself with Afrin No Drip. It's got the best medicine to open nasal passages. Afrin, the best stuff to unstuff.
The #1 family DVD in America.
You have returned for a reason.
Is the extraordinary next chapter of Narnia.
It's Aslan! Are you ready for your journey?
Narnia, Prince Caspian, the #1 family DVD and the perfect holiday gift. Now on Disney Blu-ray and DVD.
Today I found out that my funny bone is sick and that my drug plan's monthly premium changed. So I compared other plans and found similar coverage at a better price.
Now's the time to review and compare Medicare prescription drug plans. And from November 15th to December 31st, you can even change your plan. Call 1-800-MEDICARE or go to Medicare.gov and use the Plan Finder to see options in your state.
Your funny bone is better now.
And so is my prescription drug plan.
Deck the office with smart technology. La 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 la.
Get connected and stay secure with Windows Vista Business. La la la.
John, we now have great computers.
Hey, let's go carol the carol.
Simplify the season with Dell and Windows Vista Business. Call or go to Dell.com/OneTV.
After you're diagnosed with an illness, what's one of the first things you do? You go online. Last year, 132 million Americans searched for health information online, a number that has more than doubled in 5 years. It's what at least 3/4 of everyone surfing the web is looking for. But it can be very risky, as Dr. John LaPook reports in our special series, Second Opinion, Medicine Online.
That's a good boy.
When 45-year-old Melissa Offenhartz was diagnosed with breast cancer last May, she went straight to her computer.
I Googled everything from, initial things that I found on my mammogram report to little phrases maybe that my doctor had with me in conversation.
As she surfed, she was soon lost in a sea of phony remedies, testimonials, and seductive promises.
It's really a big ocean of information, and pretty soon you almost feel like you're drowning.
Some websites sold antioxidants to boost her immune system. It sounded reasonable, but when she checked with her doctor, she learned she was about to make a big mistake.
Because antioxidants protect cells, and you don't want to be protecting those cancer cells from the chemotherapy.
Melissa was nearly tripped up by bad medical advice over the web, and she's a nurse.
There are a lot of people out there trying to take advantage of cancer patients.
Barry Kaselev has seen cancer patients harmed, even die, after being duped by fake online cures.
I've seen patients, and they have given up their children's college tuition fund. They've sold their homes, and they do this, and it has zero value.
Even treatments debunked decades ago are still easily bought online.
There are 150,000 hits for Laetrile.
Like Laetrile, made from fruit pits.
I'm ordering Laetrile for $19 plus $8.50 shipping.
About a week later, my Laetrile arrived.
A few easy clicks of the mouse, and I've got my cancer cure. Only problem is, it's bogus.
Laetrile was banned by the FDA. It's a useless treatment.
Regulators are trying to crack down on companies making fraudulent claims. And the FDA has sent out 35 warning letters citing more than 260 products, including Laetrile. But officials say it's almost impossible to keep up with a marketplace so vast.
We are constantly scouring the internet for these sites and shutting them down. Unfortunately, when we shut some down, others pop up.
So here are some basic rules for searching medical information. If a product claims to cure cancer, click out. Beware of phrases like scientific breakthrough and products claiming to be natural and therefore safe. Beware of anecdotal information from testimonials or blogs. Check out the credentials of so-called experts. Look for sites like WebMD that are reviewed by health professionals. Some doctors say don't surf the web at all, but the temptation can be irresistible.
I went to see my oncologist. She and her nurse actually both recommended to me that I stay off the computer.
And what did you do?
I went online and searched for things.
The best advice, include your doctor. Together you can figure out what information to trust and how it applies to you. Katie?
Such important advice, especially for desperate cancer patients. John LaPook. Thanks, John. Tomorrow, rating doctors online. Who's doing it, and are those ratings really ensuring better care? And when we come back, the car makers may be bleeding money, but they still have plenty to lavish on Congress.
Serious sore throat sufferers know there's nothing worse than a sore throat with a bad cough. Only new Cepacol Sore Throat Plus Cough Spray has the power to stop both fast.
Thank you.
Only Cepacol stops both fast.
I'm Mark Goldston, Chairman and CEO of Net Zero. All internet providers take you to the same internet, so why pay more to get there? Net Zero is only $9.95 a month, and we give you a 30-day money-back guarantee. Call 1-800-NET-ZERO or visit netzero.com.
When my doctor told me I had to lower my cholesterol, I was shocked. I worried about the foods I'd have to eat. But you do what you have to.
My wife insists I eat whole grain oats to help lower my cholesterol. I made the commitment for her.
I was told eating certain foods can help lower my cholesterol.
I guess it's a sacrifice I have to make.
Honey Nut Cheerio cereal tastes great and can help lower cholesterol.
No one said it would be easy.
Be happy, be healthy.
First, we dig a hole next to the house and check for clogged pipes. If that's not it, we dig by the septic tank, check for leaks. If it's not there, we dig up the leach fields till we find the problem. This 60-year-old tree might have to go. Average repair cost, $6,000. Monthly maintenance with Red X, about $6.
Red X uses 100% natural bacteria and enzymes to break down waste, even paper. Use Red X monthly to help keep your septic system operating efficiently between pumpings.
Meet Erica. Grand Poobah of pasta. Chancellor of cheese. Connoisseur of cold. She keeps her ingredients in Glad bags. They're designed to grip with tall tabs and lots of ridges.
Amazing.
So it's easy for her to help keep food fresh and handy.
Easy.
Go easy. Get Glad.
RV buyers, this Thursday through Sunday at Dolphin Stadium, it's an RV liquidation show and sale. This is your best chance to save up to 40% off on a huge selection of new motorhomes from Gulfstream and Tiffin, and a great selection of certified pre-owned RVs, some up to 40% off. Names like Fleetwood, Monaco, Winnebago, and Allegro. Plus, bank repos. The bank's loss is your gain at this show. All must be liquidated with savings up to 40% off MSRP. It's the RV liquidation show and sale at Dolphin Stadium this Thursday through Sunday.
When the CEOs of the big three car makers go back to Capitol Hill tomorrow to make their case for a bailout, they'll point to balance sheets that show they're drowning in red ink. But they've still managed to invest millions this year in politicians who could help decide their fate. Cheryl Atkinson follows the money.
As Congress mulls over a bailout for U.S. automakers, some may be thinking about more than jobs and the economy. The auto industry spent nearly $50 million lobbying Congress in the first 9 months of this year, and people tied to the auto industry gave another $15 million in campaign contributions. It's not surprising that a lot of that money went to members of Congress from Michigan, where the auto industry is the biggest employer and politicians are passionate advocates for their constituents. Take Senator Carl Levin, and in the House, Congressman Joe Nolenberg and John Dingell. All have enjoyed generous support from the auto industry over their careers. General Motors and Ford are their top two contributors. All support a bailout. But nobody's been a bigger advocate for Motor City interests than Dingell. And for him, the stakes aren't just political, they're personal.
There's an actual conflict. His personal financial health, the wealth of his family is tied up in the car industry.
Dingell's wife, Debbie, once worked as a lobbyist for GM. When she married the congressman, she became a senior GM executive at an undisclosed salary. And we found the couple has extensive GM assets. Dingell's current financial disclosure form, filed in May, lists GM stock worth up to $350,000, options worth up to $1 million more, and a GM pension fund. In 2000, among the Dingell's GM assets were stock options worth up to $5 million. And in 1998, the congressman reported selling GM stock options worth up to $1 million. Dingell, shown here meeting with auto executives, wouldn't agree to an interview. Taxpayer watchdog Ryan Alexander says the Dingell's personal ties to GM are something the public should know about when the congressman casts his votes.
They stand to benefit if the company doesn't go under, if the company prospers, and they stand to lose a lot if the company goes bankrupt.
Nobody is placing bets on whether Congress will end up giving the car companies a bailout, but if investments in Washington politicians count as leverage, then the auto industry has plenty of clout. Cheryl Atkinson, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Meanwhile, back in 1963, the voice of Odetta filled the air over the Civil Rights March on Washington. One of the leading folk singers of the 60s, Odetta has died at the age of 77. She influenced singers and songwriters from Harry Belafonte to Bob Dylan. She sang to the nation on The Letterman Show the night it returned to the air after 9/11.
We shall overcome today. Deep in my heart.
This is America.
We protect what we hold dear. And every day, Bank of America is here for you. With 200,000 associates, 6,100 banking centers, and hundreds of products and services to help protect what you have and build opportunities for the future. No wonder families in America trust more of their hard-earned money with us than any other bank. Bank of America, Bank of Opportunity.
Wherever good can overcome, that is where your contributions to the Salvation Army go.
We've added a new wood-fired grill to every Red Lobster, a grill master in every kitchen, and created a new wood grill menu with 14 entrees done over the wood fire to bring out the natural flavors of our new lobster, shrimp, and scallops mixed grill, and give a subtle hint of the wood fire to our new sirloin and shrimp. Wood fire grilling, a whole new way to love seafood, now at Red Lobster.
If you have a history of smoking and breathing problems, it could be COPD, which includes chronic bronchitis, emphysema, or both. Discover Spiriva, the only once-daily inhaled maintenance prescription that treats both forms of COPD. Spiriva significantly improves lung function to help you breathe better for a full 24 hours. And it's not a steroid. Spiriva is not a rescue inhaler. Tell your doctor about your medicines, even eye drops, and illnesses like glaucoma and urinary or prostate problems. These may worsen with Spiriva. The most common side effect is dry mouth. Others include constipation and problems passing urine. In the event your breathing suddenly worsens, your throat or tongue swells, you get hives, vision changes, or eye pain, stop taking Spiriva and call your doctor. Spiriva is one of many treatment options to consider with your doctor.
Make a habit of breathing better with Spiriva.
You can't see it or smell it, and before you know it, it turns deadly. Carbon monoxide, the new warning signs, how you can protect your family. Tomorrow on The Early Show.
We got a look today at the White House Christmas tree. It features ornaments by artists from all over America, selected by their representatives in Congress. Nice to see the branches cooperating, which brings us now to the first family of Christmas trees. Sandra Hughes reports.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire. 30,000 people came to celebrate the beginning of the holiday season, but the real star of the show was 100 feet tall. A Christmas tree from a family that has made Christmas its business for 56 years.
There's not many people like us, I can tell you that.
Vito and Diane Sarayo opened a little lot selling normal-sized trees in Southern California. Along the way, they had 5 little elves to help.
Vicky, Valerie, Vonnie, Vanessa, and of course Victor.
He's all the way down.
But Vito, now 75, dreamed big. He bluffed his way into a major amusement park and pre-sold a 60-foot tree. Then he had to find one. That took him high up near Mount Shasta in Northern California, where the family still hand-picks every tree. Some branches have to be removed for transport. And now there are grandchildren to help with the heavy lifting. It's Kai's job to plug 50-pound branches back into the tree.
Just one branch at a time. Put about 800 branches in here.
Wow.
So it's a lot of work. This is like kind of one of my masterpieces when it's all finished.
Daughter Vonnie hangs bulbs, 15,000 on this tree alone, and Vanessa hangs hundreds of thousands of lights.
I was 13 when I started. I was so small that if I couldn't reach, I would stand up on the bar, you know, hold onto the tree for leverage.
And now son Victor is in charge. But if you're born into this family, you better not be afraid of heights or you'll miss these views.
How much does a 100-foot tall decorated Christmas tree cost? More than $100,000. But even in this economy, the family says business is still strong.
Another 22 trees decorated this season. Not surprising, since these beauties, most in shopping centers, bring in the crowds, lighting up the spirit of Christmas year after year. Sandra Hughes, CBS News, Los Angeles.
And that's the CBS Evening News. I'm Katie Couric. I'll see you tomorrow. Good night.
Exclusive inside Britney's birthday circus.
Welcome to my birthday bash.
Plus, Michelle's inauguration gown and Cowboy Gary in court. ET in HD is next.
Talk about a wake-up call. I had a heart attack at 57. My doctor told me I should have been doing more for my high cholesterol. What was I thinking? But now, I trust my heart to Lipitor.
When diet and exercise are not enough, adding Lipitor may help. Unlike some other cholesterol-lowering medications, Lipitor is FDA approved to reduce the risk of heart attack, stroke, and certain kinds of heart surgeries if you have several common risk factors or heart disease. Lipitor has been extensively studied with over 16 years of research. Lipitor is not for everyone, including people with liver problems and women who are nursing, pregnant, or may become pregnant. You need simple blood tests to check for liver problems. Tell your doctor if you are taking other medications or if you have any muscle pain or weakness. This may be a sign of a rare but serious side effect.
I learned the hard way, but you may be able to do something.
Have a heart-to-heart with your doctor about your risk and about Lipitor.
Entertainment Tonight and The Insider in high definition.
Britney's birthday circus in New York City. The ET Insider exclusive.
Welcome to my birthday bash.
Brit's daring party dress.
Your birthday wish today on your birthday.
A million more wishes.
The circus performers, the A-list guests, the incredible cake.
Gary Coleman in court facing charges in a cowboy hat and overalls.
Celebrities can't go nowhere and do nothing.
Then Tom Hanks and John Hamm for one night only in tonight's Real or Rumor.
This show closes so fast they send us dead flowers at the opening.
Plus, is Madonna planning a funeral for her marriage to Guy?
Michelle Obama's inauguration gown. Secrets to what our future First Lady will wear.
Some of the biggest designers who've submitted sketches are Marc Jacobs, Oscar de la Renta, and it goes on and on and on.
Then, kid casting. Does your child have what it takes to be a star?
Look for a baby that's got a lot of energy, a good personality.
If I can do it, you can do it.
Country star Taylor Swift after her Jonas Brother breakup. Plus, Deborah Messing's new movie and its unfortunate side effect.
I gained 10 pounds over the course of the film in 5 weeks.
Now, the most watched entertainment news magazine in the world.
Your hour of entertainment news with ET and The Insider in high definition begins right now. Hello, everybody. I'm Mary Hart.
And I'm Mark Steinitz.
Britney's New York Bash, and only one show can take you inside with the birthday girl. Kevin Frazier has your ticket to the circus.